It's 6 o'clock in the morning at Shrewsbury Station. I'm taking a trip today from Birmingham International Airport to Hamburg with Flybe on their Dash-8 stroke 400. It's going to be my first time on Flybe. Hopefully it's going to be great. We'll see how it goes, and I'll catch you a little bit later.
Yeah, so I originally made this video back in October 2019. It was one of the first ones I did, and to be honest, it wasn't very good. So I've decided to re-edit it and insert some previously unseen footage, and I'm going to talk all over the top of it, which I tend to like to do these days. Now, so much has changed in the space of just over a year that it was kind of strange looking back at the travel experience as it was back then in the good old days, with busy airport departure lounges and maskless queuing experiences at the gate. Actually, I'd say Gate 1A at Birmingham is probably not a great place to be hanging around. I've probably moaned about it at the time, but to be honest, I'd give anything now to be standing there waiting for a bus which would take me across the ramp to my waiting aircraft. Obviously, the main subject of this video, Flybe, sadly went out of business on the 5th of March 2020, pretty much just before COVID started to sweep the globe. And I remember on subsequent trips seeing its fleet of de Havilland Dash-8s, Embraer 175 and 195s parked up on the ramps at various airports awaiting their fate. It was a really sad sight. However, I did read recently that the Flybe brand could be relaunched in 2021. So I do wonder whether at least some of these aircraft will return to the skies under their old branding. If you've got any idea on this, please let me know in the comments below. Anyway, this particular trip was aboard this 11.5-year-old Dash-8 Q400 GECOF. It was my first time on a Dash-8, so I wasn't that familiar with the aircraft, to be honest. It looked pretty compact though. The seating was laid out in a 2-2 configuration, and I was on the left-hand side in seat 9A.
We're just about ready to go. We do have a little bit of an air traffic control restriction due to some low clouds in Hamburg and present, which is clearing as we speak, so it's going to be about another 5 minutes or so before air traffic control will let us get underway. The estimated flight time this morning to Hamburg around about an hour and a half or so. Departing to north-east here, Birmingham, which takes eastbound towards Norfolk, then across the North Sea over to Amsterdam, and then to Germany onwards to Hamburg.
After a quick briefing from the captain, we taxied out on the one engine, holding short of runway 33, as we waited for this Jet2 Holidays Boeing 737-800 to come in. It didn't take long at all for the turboprop to leave the ground as we climbed out into the clouds. I love the sound of the engines purring as we reached our cruising altitude, but what really struck me was the amount of scratches on the window. I don't know whether I was just unlucky in where I was sitting, or whether this is a common feature of the Dash-8 or Flybe. If you've had anything like this, I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts. What's the worst aircraft you've been on for this kind of thing? Don't you think it would have looked better in sepia? It seems crazy even saying this, but in the days when in-flight magazines were quite commonplace, Flybe produced their own called Flight Time. It was interesting looking at their extensive domestic route network, and some of which has thankfully been taken up by the likes of Eastern Airways and Logan Air in Flybe's absence. Our seat pitch was a bit tight, but okay for this length of trip, and I guess it's fairly typical for these aircraft to be doing this kind of distance. I didn't partake in any food or drink, but the table looked fairly standard, and most importantly, it was clean. While it was a beautiful morning above the clouds, the flight was smooth and enjoyable. But it was soon time to begin our descent, and the weather was a very different proposition as soon as we dropped below the clouds on approach to Hamburg Airport. touched down gracefully and taxied to the gate, where we boarded another bus and raced this Eurowings A320 on our way to arrivals.
Okay guys, well I just got off the flight at Hamburg, just making my way down to the railway station now. Fantastic terminal. It's like a brilliant connection to the trains. Something that you need really. Looks like some kind of modern underground station type thing. The flight was good, very cloudy all the way. The cloud was probably about 1,000 foot at the most at Hamburg, so it was pretty miserable here, but we had a good trip. Enjoyed Flybe, it was my first time with them. Service was great, really smooth, the Dash-8 I think. Yeah, fantastic, I can't really say much more than that. Just take a look at the train station. Pretty cool, eh? Okay, that's it for the flight. I'm making my way over to Copenhagen in a bit on the train. So that'll be another trip report. Don't forget to subscribe and check me out on Facebook and Twitter and Instagram. Links below, and I'll see you later. Cheers.